Hi, today I wanted to cover off one of the applications that we have available on the NAS. This is our QmailAgent software. One thing I will point out is there is a license option available for this software. Right now we are offering a 1-year free trial of all the licensed software that we have. There is more information in the video description, but basically we need the email address that you have registered for your QNAP ID or your QID. So that's whatever the email address is used to register for things like My QNAP Cloud. Once we've got your request for the piece of software you want and your QID, we'll be able to get a license key over to you within about 48 hours usually. So then you'll be able to use that unrestricted for a year with the premium version of the software. So the demo I'm going to do today after a few slides is going to be on the premium version of the software, but I will show you how much it will cost and things if the trial runs out, for example. So QmailAgent, so we'll go straight into, I guess, the services it works with. So this is a bit like an email client for your NAS. So it's able to connect to multiple email accounts, manage them all in one location. You can reply to emails from that one location. You can reply to messages that come in to Yahoo with email addresses from Gmail, vice versa. You can consolidate everything that no matter where it arrives on whichever account, that you always reply from a specific account. So it's really good at either managing separate accounts separately, you can combine everything, or you can migrate from one email account provider to another one. So there's just a few features that we'll talk about today. So basically the main point is you can manage multiple email accounts from just sort of one pane of glass looking at everything. You've got common address books. You can get push notifications when emails arrive, things like that. So you can have replication of emails from one mailbox to another mailbox. So if you say transferring from one provider to another provider, you can also search everything. And one of the best things is it actually detaches all the attachments from your emails, no matter what account it arrives into, and it puts them all into a folder on the NAS, so it's searchable. So if you want to go and search for the name of an attachment, you don't have to first go find the correct email to then go find the attachment. If you know what the attachment's called, you can just search the attachments directly, and it doesn't matter what email account it came in on. So you can search that on the NAS. And there's also lots of security on it. So once it's on the NAS, you can do things like encryption, lots of different settings for users and administrators as well. So we'll go through a few of those. So you easily migrate email from one mailbox to another. So for example, if you're a personal user, this is very good. If you were, say, switching from a basic account, so like Gmail or something like that, to another account, it's very easy for you to do that. So let's say you were going from a Gmail or a G Suite setup to go to Microsoft 365. That's very easy to do. So all the emails that you already have, you can just have those in the NAS, and then when you sign in with the NAS to the new account, you're able to then restore those emails into that account, so they're in the live mailbox there. Or you can just keep them locally and manage your new mails that come in on your new account. It's entirely up to you how you manage it. If you're a corporate entity, then backing up from an IT manager's perspective is quite important, especially as employees come and go. So if an employee was to leave the organization, you can migrate all of the former employees' emails to his boss or supervisor, so that the data flow is still there. So any knowledge that was in his email, in their email, you're able to then migrate it off to the boss, to the manager, who's able to search the old emails from that employee. So if a customer comes in and says, "Oh, this guy said this," you can go and check. You can see if it's written in his email very easily. So you can actually make the emails that person sent part of somebody else's mailbox if you want. Again, you can just keep it in the NAS as well if you want, but it's very handy to migrate it into their native email client if they want that as well. Now, instead of replicating everything, you can just do specific email addresses or specific folders if you want, so you don't have to migrate everything if you don't want to. You can be picky about what you replicate. So the best thing about this is, typically if somebody is moving from one email account to another email account, the important messages, they may just take the simple approach of forwarding them to themselves from their old email to their new email. The downside of doing that is things like replying or anything like that. The reply would go back to the person that forwarded it, so your old email account. So you'd have to copy and paste the original email over. Layouts all change in the email, things like that. The dates change, so searching is a bit more difficult as well. But this way you can migrate it. All that stuff stays intact. So if you wanted to just click reply on a message that arrived at your old account, but from your new account, just click reply. It'll reply from your new account, not from the old one. So that's very handy. So it keeps all the original content, doesn't change layout where it says original message or anything like that. It's exactly as it came into your old account. You can also do secondary backup of all the data. So all the data that you take into the NAS from these cloud email providers that you may be using, you can also send it off to somewhere else. Now that could be to another cloud provider, it could be to another NAS, it can be really anything that you want. So the administrator can back up every email in the NAS, whereas the users can just manage their own mailbox, obviously. But you can restore, if you're an administrator, you can restore anyone's emails to any mailbox that you wish. So long as that mailbox is added into QmailAgent, the administrator is able to take a source from any mail account on the NAS to put it on any other email account on the NAS if required. So you can also do the 3-2-1 rule with this as well. So you can get 3 copies. So one would be in the mail server originally, one can be on your NAS, and one can be a remote cloud, for example. So you can really make sure that your data is safe should it ever be corrupted or have an issue at any one of the locations. You've got copies in multiple locations so that the data is nice and safe. You can also back up all data in the mailbox, so you can do it either as a incremental backup, so it's truly a backup, or you can have a sync. So a sync is pretty much a direct replication of the data that's in the live folder will be in the remote destination. I personally prefer the incremental option, and that's what I'll be showing you a bit later on. You can also do schedule backups, one-time backups, things like that. You can have encryption enabled and compression if you wish as well. So you can make the capacity a bit smaller of the data that's stored on the NAS itself. You can archive all mails to the public cloud. So if you want to use a hybrid mount software, you're able to archive all data off. So you can get them to say a less expensive option that might be out there. So instead of hosting it in your Microsoft 365, your G Suites or something like that, you can offload it to another service if you wish that might be a lower price as well. So that's also an option that you can use. So you can search the full mailbox that you want, so you can choose anything that you want, so you can search very specific search criteria. Once you've found the messages, you can do things like restore them to another account within QmailAgent, or you can do the whole mailbox itself. That's also an option. You can change the contact email address, so when you're replicating all mails to your new mailbox, so let's say you do get the new email account, you can have all the mails in the old mail account forwarded across to the new one. So if I scroll here to the next page, so you can see that you can have a instant replication of any data that arrives at the old mailbox automatically delivered to the new one. Now I know some cloud email providers may have an auto forward option built into them as well, but this way you can do it directly where you're in control. You're not relying on the cloud provider service to do it. It's going to happen immediately as soon as they arrive in the NAS. So you can select and replicate any email that you want. So you can say a destination account. Now you can replicate a specific folder, or you can go into the exact emails that you want. So you can either restore them for yourself, or you can restore them elsewhere. So really, really flexible options that you can do here. So here would be a screenshot of how you would replicate an entire folder rather than specific messages. So here you can just tick whichever ones you want, the inbox, draft, sent, spam, whatever you want. You can select them and just restore them to a different location if you want to. When you change email server, so you can keep all your backup emails as well. So if your company was to change, let's say, that's the example earlier from G Suites to Microsoft 365. I keep using that example because that's what we did as QNAP. We were on G Suites, now we're on 365. It lets you change the email server, but you all your existing emails in the format they were in are still with you. You've still got them. When your new service is active, just put them back if you want to, or you can keep them just in QMailAgent if you want to. So this is only supported when it's between Gmail and Outlook. So effectively G Suite's to 365, but this is a really cool option to use as well. So now we're going to jump straight into a live demo. So here I've got a NAS. It's not a fancy NAS, it's a TS462. So we can see that here. So TS462. I'm only running it right now with about 2 gig of RAM, so keeping it quite basic. So here I've got the QMailAgent application installed, and I've got it synced with a Gmail account that I created. So here we can see the sort of instant view of all messages in my Gmail account. So it is saying that I'm on the premium version there at the top. So if I click at the top, I do have the premium one. Here's a little comparison between the two. So Lite is basic features, premium has everything. So there's the options. Now what I'm looking at here is a live view of what the mailbox looks like. So here if I was to click over to the mailbox, it is exactly what it looks like over here. So this is an instant view of, if I was to log into Gmail directly, this is showing me exactly what I'm seeing there. Now at the bottom here you've got the instant view, and you've also got a tab for the backup view. So since I did this, I did an initial sync. It had more emails in it. I did a backup. And then after I've done the backup, I've actually deleted some messages. So in the instant view, any messages I delete from here, they were also deleted directly from the Gmail software as well. So here I can't see them, but if I was to click to the backup option, we should see a few more emails appearing here at the bottom from QNAP UK sales. So if I click backup, so there's the QNAP UK sales ones that have reappeared. Now if you have more backups than me, I've only got the one that I did today, you are able to scroll through them at the top here so that you can go back to any point in time to see different days backups if you want to. So that's an easy way to do that. So here's just sort of viewing through the messages. If I was to click on different messages, we can see some information here. Now we can see at the top that some of them have a paperclip. So if I was to click on the preview of the paperclip, it's going to show me the attachment. And you're able to actually look into the attachment in some cases. So if I was to go to, let's have a look, this one here. I can see the Excel spreadsheet there, so I can see it's an 18-page spreadsheet. So I can go through and I can scroll through and see the attachment as well through the web interface here. It's not like you have to download the attachment first to view it. You can view it straight away directly in the interface. Now the different modes within the software are all along the top here. So right now I'm in the mail category. You have an address book for all your contacts. And you also have backup and restore. So we'll click backup and restore, and we can see that I've got one backup job created. But here's how you would create a backup job. You just name it, add a description if you want. Select the email accounts. I've only got the one here, so I'll select that one. The destination, you can select it to be a remote mounted space, something in hybrid mount. So you could select a cloud vendor if you wanted, or you could do a local folder. So here if I click the local folder, I'll say just the public share. Click select. So happy with that, that's how it's set up. I'm going to click next. So now you've got the option for either an incremental backup or a sync. So the sync destination again is a absolute mirror copy of what's happening in the instance. So it's not really what I would call a backup strictly, but it's just a copy of your data. Incremental is much better for backing up your data because it's going to give you multiple restore points. You can enable a schedule, so you can do a one-time backup, or you can choose the schedule option and say I want it daily at midnight. Here's where you'll see the options if you want to enable encryption or compression as well. So you click next. So that's just letting you know everything's done, and you can click create. There's really no point in me clicking create on that because it's going to create the exact same job I already have that I can see is successful. But that's the backup job I have, and that's what you're seeing, that when you're in the mail section over here, that's what you see when you click the backup option at the bottom left there. So there's a wide range of dashboard information as well. So here, if you go to the admin dashboard, you've got user dashboard or admin dashboard. So if you've got specific users or you're an administrator, you can see everything. Now you can see by email service. So this would be if you've got connections with Gmail, Microsoft, Yahoo, for example. It's going to itemize them all out in a little pie chart there for you, so you can see which is which. Or you can do it by specific email accounts. So you can have just the email accounts listed to see who's using the most space. So it's easy to see the information there. We can see I've got a green dot on the 9th because today is the day I installed it, set it up. So that's where I've got a backup restore option just on the 9th because I didn't have it set up yesterday. At the top, we've also got the cog for settings. So in settings, there's a lot of settings here that you can go through. So you can choose how it all displays. So this is the user interface. You can pick how you want the date, format, time, everything. Mailbox view, how that's going to look, displaying messages, things like that, all the way down to security settings. So if you wanted to enable encryption, you can turn that on as well. Down here in identities, you can set up an identity. So the identity is where you'd have your signature file, for example. So if you wanted a signature on every email that you're sending, you can do that as well. But this isn't just for viewing or previewing messages. You can actually go in here, compose new messages, and reply to an existing one. So I could reply to my colleague Tam here, click reply, and then I can go over here and type a reply. If I've got more than one mailbox set up in here, the from box will let me pick a different mailbox. I've only got the one set up, so I'm only seeing one, but it will let you pick reply from a different mailbox if you wanted to, a different one that this mail is stored in. So this is QmailAgent. It's quite a flexible bit of software, can really work to however you need it to work for you, depending on how many mail accounts you have, whether you're a personal user or an organization. It's got a lot of different options in there. I do want to reiterate that you can get this software completely free for the first year. Again, we are doing trial licenses, so long as you have a QNAP with a QID, send us across the request. All the information's in the description box below. So that you can request that, so that we can get the license key sent out to you, so that it's registered in your QNAP license center. If anyone has any questions on QmailAgent and how it works, please do let us know in the comments box down below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks a lot.